You ever feel like you're watching history write itself in real time? That's exactly what's happening in Cleveland right now. And no, I'm not exaggerating. This isn't just another quarterback storyline or some preseason headline that fades out by November. What's happening here feels different. It feels bigger. It feels like the start of a storm that's been building for years, waiting for the right moment, the right player, the right spark to ignite it. And the spark has a name: Sanders. From the outside, it might look like the usual noise: a rookie quarterback, a shaky depth chart, an impatient fan base. But if you've been paying attention, if you've been watching the body language, the sideline whispers, the decisions that don't quite add up, you know this is bigger than football. This is about power. This is about control. And at the center of it all, you've got a young quarterback who refuses to wait his turn. Let me break this down. Right now in Cleveland, we are staring at the beginning of one of the wildest quarterback sagas this franchise has ever seen. And trust me, that's saying something, because the Browns have had their share of chaos under center. But this one feels different. I'll say it again, loud and clear. I believe Sanders is going to play more games this year than any quarterback on the Browns roster. And I don't mean at the tail end of the season when everything's already decided. I mean soon, much sooner than people are ready for. Picture it, the Browns come out stumbling, maybe 0-4, maybe 1-3. And if you know this city, you know how fast that fuse burns. In Cleveland, pressure doesn't just build slowly, it explodes. The media storms, the fans rage, and right when everything feels like it's teetering on the edge, you've got Jimmy Haslam himself, the owner, storming into the conversation, pounding the table, saying, "I want Sanders on the field. I don't care what the coaches say." Now the staff will push back. They'll beg for time. They'll say, "We're about to head overseas. We've got London next week. Don't throw the rookie into that mess. Just give us one more game." But time is already gone. The leash is already burned. And when Joe Flacco coughs up another loss, that's when the walls come crashing down. October 12th. Mark it, circle it, highlight it, because that might be the day Sanders takes his first start in the NFL. And this isn't just me tossing darts at a wall. Reports are already swirling. Ownership wants Sanders as the guy. Colin Cowherd said it outright. Sanders hasn't just flashed, he's positioned himself as the front runner for QB1. And in Cleveland, when the owner's this invested, history tells you exactly what happens. Haslam gets his way, always. Remember Baker Mayfield? Remember Johnny Manziel? Remember Deshaun Watson? Every single time, ownership stepped in, forced the move, and made it clear, this is our quarterback. Like it or not, that's how things operate here. And right now, the chosen one is Sanders. But let's rewind, because none of this was supposed to happen. The Browns never planned on drafting two quarterbacks. Gabriel was supposed to be their project. That was the script. But then Sanders, this kid who wasn't supposed to still be on the board, falls into the 5th round. And suddenly, the plan changes. Andrew Berry said it himself. Sanders wasn't drafted to hold a clipboard. He was drafted to compete. And compete? That's exactly what he's done. From OTAs to minicamp, he hasn't just kept up, he's looked the part. Calm in the huddle, sharp under pressure, composed when the moment gets tense. This isn't some raw project you stash away for a year or two. He looks like he's ready now. Normally, a 5th rounder is just a roll of the dice, a body for the depth chart, a hope and pray experiment. But Sanders? He's rewriting the rules. He came here to take over. And the more reps he gets, the more undeniable it becomes. And then there's the outside noise, the drama that just won't go away. The Giants poured gasoline on this fire. Draft night rumors swirled that Sanders bombed an interview in New York. Now, leaks come out saying they've got a tape. But instead of releasing it, they clip it, tease it, then lock the rest away like some classified document. Fans see right through it. It reeks of a smear job. But here's the kicker. Instead of burying Sanders, they turned him into the biggest underdog story in football. They wanted people to doubt him. Instead, they gave him a spotlight. They made him look like the guy fighting against the system. And fans in Cleveland, they eat that up. Now they're not just cheering for a quarterback, They're rallying behind a cause. Sanders isn't just a player anymore. He's a symbol. A guy who's been doubted, criticized, dragged through the mud, and who keeps proving people wrong. And then there's Miami, that private workout. Let me paint this picture for you. 15 scouts, execs, and former coaches standing there, stone-faced, clipboards ready, waiting for him to crack, waiting for that one mistake they can circle in red ink. And Sanders walks onto the field like he owns it. No fear, no hesitation, just pure confidence. Precision passes, pinpoint timing, a flawless 2-minute drill against legit NFL defenders. One scout literally dropped his clipboard. That's how good he looked. And this is what people don't understand. That confidence everyone wants to call arrogance, it's the exact thing that fuels him. It's why he thrives under pressure. Every time they try to knock him down, he comes back stronger. Every time they doubt him, he raises the bar. So here we are, the coaching staff hesitating, ownership pushing, fans rallying, and Sanders proving day after day that he's ready. This isn't just about Cleveland's quarterback depth chart anymore. This is about who really runs this team. The coaches trying to buy time, or the owner demanding Sanders take the reins. The more I watch it unfold, the more inevitable it feels. We're not just watching a rookie quarterback fight for reps. We're watching the birth of a storyline that could define the Browns for years to come. And when the dust settles, when the noise clears, don't be surprised if we look back at this exact moment, the drama, the chaos, the tension, and realize we were watching history being written. I need you to feel this with me. Sanders is stepping into the spotlight whether Kevin Stefanski wants it or not. And you can sense it in the air, can't you? This isn't some storyline that's years away. This isn't a developmental project the front office can tuck quietly in the corner. No, this is happening right now. So let me throw it straight to you. Do you believe Sanders takes over this year? Is this his team already, even if the coaches don't admit it yet? Or are they going to keep dragging their feet, trying to slow down a train that can't be stopped? Because one thing is already clear. The Sanders era in Cleveland has begun. Now, let's rewind. This offseason has been one of the strangest, most chaotic roller coasters I've seen in my years of following this game. At first, it felt like the same old chatter you hear every single summer. You know how it goes: competition, camp battles, open quarterback room. The kind of buzz that fills headlines but usually leads nowhere. I almost tuned it out myself. But then, the hammer dropped. The Browns made it official. They went out and said it. Joe Flacco is the starting quarterback. Now hold on, I know what's running through your mind, because it hit me the same way. Joe Flacco? After everything we just watched unfold in camp? After all the energy, all the noise, all the momentum building behind Sanders? That's the guy they're going with? At first, I thought maybe it was a placeholder, a veteran name just written in pencil, something safe until the dust settled. But no, this wasn't just about putting a name on paper. This was about a message. This was about control, about the ripple effect that would pour over the rest of that quarterback room and spill right into the future of the entire franchise. See, they sold us on this idea of a four-man competition. Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Sanders, Dylan Gabriel. On the surface, it looked electric. It sounded like the kind of story that gets fans fired up, dreaming that maybe, just maybe, we'd witness a young name rise out of nowhere and take the league by storm. But if you looked closely, if you were paying attention, you could see through it. That competition wasn't real, not in the way they sold it. The truth, the real battle, was always Flacco versus Pickett. That was the plan. That was the path. Sanders and Gabriel, they were props, window dressing, names thrown in the mix to keep the story spicy, to keep the fans engaged. But they were never supposed to start week one. That much is obvious now. And once Pickett's injuries kept piling up, the Browns did what most franchises do when they're scared of uncertainty. They leaned on the safe bet. The veteran, the guy who's been to the top of the mountain, who stood in the fire, who's calmed the storm when the chaos hit. That's Joe Flacco, But here's the thing. This decision doesn't end with Flacco starting. It creates ripples. It creates tension. And those ripples are hitting Sanders harder than anyone else. Because let's not rewrite history here. Sanders has shown flashes, not just glimpses, flashes of something real. I saw it with my own eyes. In preseason against Carolina, the kid looked calm, confident, like he belonged out there on that field. He didn't look nervous, he didn't look overwhelmed, he looked like a diamond in the rough. Raw, sure, but already glimmering under the lights. And yet, here he is, being pushed aside. Not cut, not traded, not yet, but you can almost feel the walls closing in. You can almost hear the whispers in the locker room. The writing is on the wall, and fans already feel it too. They're asking the tough questions. Are the Browns about to trade Sanders for a draft pick? Is he just another asset to flip instead of the future this city's been desperate for? And that's where this story gets dangerous, because we've seen this movie before. Think back, Baltimore, 2018. The Ravens stuck with Flacco. They hesitated. They kept Lamar Jackson on the sidelines longer than they should have. And we all know how that story ended. Jackson became an MVP. He turned that entire franchise into contenders overnight. And still, to this day, Ravens fans debate whether the team wasted precious time by waiting too long to unleash him. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Sanders is Lamar Jackson. They're different quarterbacks with completely different skill sets. But the vibe, the narrative, the electricity of a veteran holding down the fort while a young, dynamic talent sits and waits? Tell me it doesn't feel eerily familiar. And here's the math that no one in that building can avoid. You can't keep 4 quarterbacks on a 53-man roster. It doesn't work. Somebody has to go. And every option comes with consequences. Is it Sanders? Is it Gabriel? Do they roll the dice and hold 2 rookies, cutting depth elsewhere? These decisions don't just affect a depth chart. They affect locker room chemistry, draft boards, the entire direction of this franchise. And look at where the Browns are. The AFC North is an absolute gauntlet. You've got Lamar and the Ravens looking to return to MVP form. You've got Joe Burrow and the Bengals ready to light up any scoreboard they touch. You've got the Steelers, always physical, always dangerous, always ready to wreck a rival's season. In this division, you can't afford to stumble at quarterback. Not for a game, not for a stretch. Because one bad decision here, it won't just cost you wins. It could cost you a playoff run. And that's why this Sanders storyline is so electric. Because it's not just about who takes the first snap in Week 1. It's about the future. It's about the vision. Do the Browns keep Sanders and groom him, slowly shaping him into the franchise quarterback this fan base has been begging for? Or do they sell high, trade him while the stock is hot, and risk watching him explode somewhere else? And let me tell you this, if Cleveland bails on Sanders too early and he ends up shining under the bright lights of another city, that's the kind of decision that doesn't just sting, it scars. It's the kind of move that haunts a franchise for decades. And Browns fans, I don't know if this city can survive watching yet another quarterback slip through its fingers. So here's where we stand. Flacco's the guy, for now. Pickett's fighting to stay in the mix if he can stay healthy. Gabriel's hanging on by a thread. And Sanders? Sanders is the wild card. He's the name that could either become Cleveland's future or the one that got away. And that's why I'm telling you, this offseason isn't just fascinating, it's defining. This isn't roster management. This isn't some spreadsheet calculation. This is identity. This is vision. This is about whether Cleveland has the guts to build for the future or whether they'll cling to the past one more time and risk paying the price for it later. So I'll end it with this. Cleveland, what do you think? Should the Browns keep Sanders, pour everything into developing him, and finally give this city the franchise quarterback it deserves? Or should they cut ties now, cash in while they can, and double down on Flacco and Pickett? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear every perspective. Because one thing's for sure, the season is coming fast, the storylines are only heating up, and this is one ride you will not want to miss.